Or your computer. We're talking about cheer up and chill out. Well, anybody else want to share before I go on?
I'll share about the cheer up and chill out because they have
Yeah.
the little sample packages now, and I just ordered some, and they come in little boxes of 2 gummies. And
Yes, right here.
yes, that's it.
Oh,
Right
So-
here it is. You can go right on your Shackley back office. And you can get these. It's a 10-pack of 2 gummies.
Hmm.
And which is awesome because it's professionally packaged. It's about time that they did this. And then you can order also, they have the little sachet bags and then the little brochures. Let's see if I can hold it up there. Oh, nope, you guys can't see. It's the little multitasker brochures
Mhm.
is what it is. And at $10, that's a really good price.
Mhm.
That's a great price. So they really kept it really low for us. And you can see right there is the item number 59649. And then you can, it's right in the Shackley Share and Grow community. See, so right there's the brochure. So they have all of those tools right there, the brochures, the little sample gummies. And so you can see that right in the Shackley Share and Grow community.
And those brochures have, I think they probably still have that special code on the back where people can get 20% off their first order.
Yes. Yes. And Leah, you are the one that shared that with us originally that I didn't know about.
Yeah,
The
I
other
just
thing-
did that recently with a new member, and I gave her some samples of the Good Gut and Go and the Rest and Rewind, and she loved them both. And so we did that promotional code with her so she could save. She became a member and saved 20% on her first order.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then also, I just saw this today. They're
Yes.
doing a BOGO 50% off body lotion and or body ritual trio set. So buy one, get the second one for 50% off. Again, just a great deal. So gotta get that out there. And then the Mission Possible, I did not get a chance to see this today. Anybody was able to watch this? I heard it was really good.
I
I
just
did.
saw the first half, and they were talking about, the cheer up and chill out, and then went over the new compensation plan. That's as far as I got.
Okay, all right. So I guess there was some pretty good details that were in there on the new sales plan, which the more we hear it, the more it'll kind of make more sense. And like I said, now that I'm back, for those of you that want to, I can get on with you and we can kind of go through your groups and kind of see where you're at, what is best for you. In
Did
regards
you
to,
see the whole call, Mary?
I did listen to the whole thing. Yeah, Christine Proper, is that her name? She was very good, lots of enthusiasm, and I liked her personality, and she had some good tips. Yeah, so the first part, they did introduce that Mother's Day special, the BOGO with 50% off. And then they went over the compensation plan. I didn't detect anything new other than what you had shown us last week, Marcia.
okay. All right, got it. So did anybody listen to the recording on the business plan?
I did. Can you hear me, Marcia?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm on my iPad. My Mac Air, for some reason, I sent you a message and that wouldn't deliver, and I can't get on the Zoom, so I have no idea. Last week it worked perfect. So,
Technology.
yeah, I love it. Yes, I did. I listened to it 1.5 times. I got halfway through it a second time. And the question I have is, To be a director on this new plan, do they go by the PV or do they go by the dollar amount?
They go by the PV.
So you still have to have 2,000 PV to be a director.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I gotta turn my light.
Marcia, can you explain again what that June 1st of 2025 date is significant for?
I'm gonna kind of shine here a little bit because I gotta turn my light on. What is that again?
What the June 1st, 2025 date is significant for?
Okay. So that is the cutoff as far as any new leaders. So in order to, so right now, anybody that is an ambassador or a leader, that means a director and above, can choose whether to stay in the dream plan or whether to go into the new compensation plan. After June 1st of 2025, if you are not a director, which is 2,000 volume and above, then you will be in the new plan automatically. That June 1st, 2025 is significant. I mean, they really gave a whole more than a year, which is significant. So they really wanted to be able to open that up for anybody to be able to stay in that.
But that's only for directors.
Correct. That is
If you're
correct.
an ambassador, you're automatically in the compensation plan.
Correct.
And since you have that year to choose, when June 1st comes this year, are you automatically in the plan if you're an ambassador?
You will remain where you are. So you are, because you sponsored you're in the dream plan at this point.
Right.
From my understanding, you have to choose to go into that new plan. Okay, you will, everybody will probably get an email. Everybody will probably get some information. You know, again, I'm only passing on information that I know right now. And then as I get questions, Robbie Carter, he's one of the heads in our region, in the Eastern region, for those that live over here. And so if I have questions, I message him. And he's real good. I mean, we had a phone conversation because I had some other questions and things like that to ask him. So they're pretty readily available if we need them. So they've been great about that to kind of get back with everybody. So we'll go over it again. So that way, and maybe what we can do is kind of take our time and go through and maybe address. I think what would be helpful, like Sandy, I know we're going to go through the plan and things like that. I think that'll be helpful to me as well to kind of answer greater questions. So we'll go over that again. I think that would be beneficial. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What I'm thinking now is I just have to go through my team and take the ones that order regularly and add up their dollar amount and their PV amount, and that will tell me which plan to go in, right?
Not necessarily. Okay. So
Okay.
one of the things that I had to get some clarity on, I'm actually going to share my screen here. Let me see if it's still up. It is. Okay. So let me go to this one chart. Let me find it, because this was confusing for me. And I actually messaged Robbie because I wanted to make sure that I understood. Okay. You see this? Remember this chart? So if you notice, the very first thing it says is customer payout. Okay. This does not include your ambassadors. First level, second level, third level, none of them. Okay. My original feeling was it was your first level ambassadors, but that was incorrect. So I wanted to double check with Robbie to make sure that I was understanding. And so basically what this is, so all members, I'm going to go up here one, all members and ambassadors, retail customers, I think it's just actually members and ambassadors. Anybody that comes into Shackley, whatever they order, those first 30 days, you're gonna get 30% off. Okay, that's pretty cut and dry. Then with your chart, this is only customers. So say I have a first level Joan that comes in and she signs up as an ambassador. Okay, she orders $500 that month for the first 30 days. Well, Shackley's going to pay me 30% on her volume that she ordered, not volume, per dollar value. Okay, $500. So that's going to be $150, right?
Mhm.
So after those 30 days, she now goes into that different tier. She is not part of this anymore because she's an ambassador. This is only members. Okay. This is only members and retail customers. That's important. That's huge because for us that are in legacy and that are in dream plan, we always looked at it at the ambassador value of buying. Okay, for them and for their family. This is a bit of a different structure. Okay, so what you see here, you can earn 16% on your level 1 ambassadors. So Joan, I could earn 16% on her and her members. Okay, but now say Joan sponsors in Bob, he becomes an ambassador. Bob is now considered a second level, right? Which he is. He's a second level ambassador. So that is going to be 8% on Bob's and all of his members. Okay. It's kind of gearing it and tiering it as an ambassador. You know how it's tiered as a director with first level and third and fourth, fifth level directors? It kind of reminds me that they're doing this with ambassadors. That's the difference.
So
Okay.
what do you earn if you sign somebody up? You're an ambassador, you sign somebody up. You get that 30% the first month as if you're an ambassador, or do you have to be a member?
No, only ambassadors are going to earn. Only ambassadors can earn. So you sign up as an ambassador, and anybody that you sign in the first 30 days, no, anybody that you sign up, their 30-day purchase, their first 30-day purchase is 30% payout.
To the ambassador that signed them up.
Correct.
Okay,
And it's not a calendar month. It's
Correct.
30 days.
That's 30 days. So if you sign them up on May 15th, that orders go all the way through the next month, May 15th, or would it be May 14th? Whatever 30 days is.
okay,
Does that make sense?
yes.
And so
Go
that-
into that 10 to 40%. Do you still get, as an ambassador, do you get that, or is that just for members?
So that new ambassador that you just sponsored, after the first 30 days, they don't count in here. They go on a different tier. And that's what I'm learning with your first level ambassadors. So for me, if I was going into the new plan, if I've got any ambassadors that are only ordering a little bit here and a little bit there, and they're not active, and they're not really doing they're not what you would consider active ambassadors, I would probably have them go ahead and resign as an ambassador and just go back to a member. Because then they would come back into this pool, because if they're only buying product, they are essentially a member. Does that make sense?
Marcia, that's what I kind of sort of thought I remembered, and correct me if I'm wrong, about the June 1st, 2025 date. And yes, ambassadors could decide if they want the new plan or the plan that they enrolled in, if it was prior to June 1st of this year. But I thought ambassadors, if they didn't do something, I don't really recall what the something was, if it was become a director or whatever it was, they would lose their DN pricing by June 1st of 2025 if they didn't, do whatever they were supposed to do.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
That's how I'm saying, I can ask.
Mhm.
I can message Robbie just to, again, if I have a question, I message him for clarity so that I can understand.
I think it was in your presentation last week, or the video or something we did last week that I remember that from.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's accurate.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But I called Shackley. They said I was in the legacy plan and that my pricing wouldn't change.
I asked
Even as-
Kathy Keating and she said no price changes would happen for people that are in Legacy and Dream Plan.
Even as an ambassador.
Well, I took it so. I mean, why would they change? If they're an ambassador. According to what she said, I took it to mean that everybody who is presently in Shackley stays where they are. And there's no price changes for them.
That's what they
Um,
explained to me with the legacy plan. Cause I
All
told
right,
them,
I'm gonna message Robbie.
Yeah. Let's
I
find
just
out
want to
for
be
sure.
sure, because I don't want to tell somebody something and it not be accurate.
And Marcia, I thought I read something that said that if you were in the legacy plan or the dream plan, were a director or above, and the legacy plan or dream plan, you would continue to be in that plan.
Yeah.
And then in the video webinar, whatever today, the Mission Possible, they were said, but any new people who came in after June 1st, customers or things like that, we would be paid on those new people according to the new plan.
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
even if we're in the legacy plan ourselves.
Yes. So you sponsor new people in after June 1st. All of those new people are going to be part of the new plan, and that's how you will get paid.
Okay. No, even if they just come in, what is membership now? $25 still?
No,
19.
membership is $19.95.
$19.95. Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
I guess I'm confused, but I thought if you sponsor a member, they would be, like if I'm in Legacy, that new member would be in Legacy. It's only the ambassadors that would be in the new plan, but
Again, I got to get clarity on that.
yeah, me too.
I'll
Where
ask Robbie. I'll see if I can get a phone call with him tomorrow.
I went to the library to download this new program, and this isn't what I downloaded. I don't know what I did. It was like 40 pages, but this is what I was looking for and I couldn't find it in my tool section. So is this under slides? Is that what this is?
This is actually a slide presentation I got from another business leader.
Oh, because this would be much more clear than what I got. What I got is mostly the dream plan, and it
Yeah.
I like the new, I like the new breakdown of the plan, but you have to do 500 PV a month, which I'm pretty much there, but, I don't know, it's a lot to take in. I'm trying
Yeah.
to sort it out, but is
So-
there a way we can get this?
I can, if your email can take the slide presentation, I can send
It's
it.
Not today. I have to buy a new computer before I
Okay.
take it. else.
But yeah, I have this slide presentation. I'm happy to send it to anybody that would like it. And that's why I loved their slide presentation, because I was like, I said, it's very clear. I like how they had everything on the charts. It just made it really easy to understand.
Would you send that or email that to us, Marcia?
Sure, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Would like that, Leah?
Could
Yes,
you send it to my sister Robin and she could send it to me as soon as I get a new computer?
Who do you want me to send it to, Sandy?
Robin, Healthy
Robin.
Choices, yeah, 23, I think is her
Alright.
email.
All right, yeah, no problem. Let me write
I'll
that
tell her
down.
to expect it.
So yeah, again, there's a lot of things that we're trying to figure out to be accurate. And so, like I said, that's why we want to look at your group to kind of see where you're at. And if, like I said, if you have ambassadors that are non-active and only ordering, you're going to want to have them switch back to member
I still don't see why.
because they won't count. If you end up going into the new plan, they
Well,
don't
if I
count.
don't end up going with the new plan, why would I want to make all that?
You don't
confusion?
have to. It's going to be different for you. You know, so again, it's just kind of getting clarity. Because you think, oh, well, gosh, I do easily 7,500 volume. Well, what if you don't have 20 customers, just members? What if you've got mostly ambassadors? If you've got mostly ambassadors, that volume isn't going to count. So again, it's just with due diligence, crossing our T's and dotting our I's, because we want to make sure that everybody is happy no matter what they decide to do. And it really depends on what your group looks like.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
my
will
group-
ask those questions, definitely.
My group is mostly ambassadors.
Yeah.
So I want them all to go back to members.
Yeah, yeah, they can literally write a letter to Shackley, or you can write a letter for them, send it to them, and actually it's you just email field support. And it's basically a resignation letter saying, I would like to resign as an ambassador. They put their ID number there. Could you just put me back to member?
But they're gonna pay much more for the products as a
No.
member.
Most ambassadors are paying member price.
Not in my group.
Okay.
I don't think in my group either.
Um,
They get those loyalty ones, loyalty prices for being an ambassador, like Mine Works and things like that.
Yeah.
They're-
yes, so yeah, there are some of those, and those, that makes a big difference, especially every single month. So yeah,
Okay, so they will lose all that.
again, let me check, because Mary asked the question, is as an ambassador, do ambassadors, I want to say they don't, but I'm going to get clarity on that if they get grandfathered into that pricing. And from my understanding, they don't, but I could be wrong. So that is definitely a question that's going to be very important. Okay, because according to,
No,
go ahead.
Marcia, on that Zoom meeting today, he said, what was that guy's name?
Kim
He
Carver.
wa-
Kim
Pardon?
Carver?
Yeah, Kim Carver is one that's been doing a lot of the
Well,
presentation.
he said, if you were an ambassador now, that you were staying where you were at, you would not go into the new plan.
Yeah.
He
that's what I
did.
He
Okay,
did
so I
say
didn't listen
that.
to today.
He said that today. He said it's only you that if you have someone that upgrades to an ambassador, say June 1st, they will go into they are put into the new compensation plan.
So did he use the word indefinitely, or did he use until a certain date?
He didn't say, he said you stay where you are. There's no change.
So I'm gonna clarify that.
Yeah, that was my understanding. They told me that I would stay where I was at with the same pricing and that I couldn't come into the dream plan.
So I'm gonna check,
Okay.
because if you look over, this was the chart that I got, and it says all members and ambassadors will be in the new Shackley compensation plan if you're not a director. So I'm going to clarify that. Because I want to, I mean, that's a very important question, if you ask me.
Can you clarify what an ambassador is? What is? I
A
thought
distributor. An ambassador is the new name for a distributor.
Okay.
That's
okay,
all.
Okay.
That's it.
Ambassadors can earn money and they can sponsor other people.
Yep.
Okay.
So are ambassadors in the legacy or the dream plan? I don't even know.
Ambassadors were newly named in the dream plan. And I
Oh, okay.
actually I like ambassador better than director. I mean, better than distributor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think ambassador is a better name because an ambassador is somebody that represents. And so we represent a wellness company. We don't just sell a product.
right.
And a
Mhm.
distributor just distributes product. So I really love the name. So I like the change, but an ambassador is just a distributor. Same thing. It's the same position, just a different title. That's the easiest way to think about it. Any other comments, questions you can think of? I'm writing all these down.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It's important that we have clarity because how can we explain it to somebody unless we have clarity? And so I appreciate them giving us more time before anything changes. You know, the good thing is most people are not that detail oriented. Most people are pretty happy to see the first part. But it's important that we're able to sit down and show them dollar-wise what that looks like as they bring people in so that they have a greater understanding. So, well, I am going to share my screen because there's a couple other things that I wanted to share. So let's see. Oh, and I did find out from Jordan, the guy that made my ebooks, because I had some of you comment and ask about if he could make those ebooks for you with your name and information. So basically he said that yes, he can do that. I'm going to guess maybe about $10 to do that, roughly. And then obviously it's your ebook to use. So basically he would need your name, phone number, email, Shackley storefront link, and pictures to use is what he would need. Okay. And then basically, you know how I have the About Me page? Basically your short Shackley story, and then any special links that you want him to include in there. Do you have a Google inquiry form? If you don't, it's not a big deal. All right. But he said, yeah, he can do that.
And could you share your book with us? I don't think I've actually
I
seen.
didn't send it to you. I'll do that.
I don't, not the book. We went kind of over it briefly last week, but I don't think you sent. I mean,
That's
I
right.
don't think I have it.
Yep, you are correct.
Yeah, I didn't get it either, Marcia. All I got was the recording from last.
I probably didn't send it, to be honest with you. All right, let me see. Let me go over here. All right. So one of the things, and you guys have heard me over and over again talk about one of my goals is to always find new people and be able to invite one new person a day.
Get started at mo.com/sparks.
And so we can do that almost anywhere. You can do it online. You can do it over the phone. You can connect with somebody on Facebook. You can connect with, and say you think of somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. You can call somebody up that you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe somebody new that you met at a function you were at or whatever. You know, we run into people all the time, or just people in general, wherever you are. And so a simple, I thought this was good. I got this through an email the other day, and a simple recipe for finding opportunities is obviously be pleasant. People want to be around fun people, interesting people, fun people. Ask questions. Asking people questions about what do they do. You know, it's that form, FORM, is a good way to remember, is family, occupation, recreation, and money are the 4 things that you can always ask people about. You know, and then, one of the things that I have found is I always like to have something that because people they're always going to ask, well, what do you do? You know, you always talk about occupation or what people are doing. And so I worked on something where I could kind of give people a little snippet of what I do, but then something so that if they kind of were interested in what I do, they might ask more questions. So one of the things that I say most of the time is when people say, what do you do? I say, I'm a wellness educator, and I show people how to live younger and healthier through changing simple means in their daily lives, you know, through products that they may be using in their home, through good quality health products, that kind of thing. And so what I'm doing is I'm not just saying, because I could say I'm a wellness educator and they could think I teach in a college or a school. So what I did is, you see, I kind of took it a little bit of a step further to say that I offer to show people how to do that, you know, by offering, you know, suggestions and things that people might want to know about maybe chemicals in their home, you know, how to use environmentally safe cleaners, you know, what's a good company to trust. And so I find that people tend to ask more questions about that. And then engage daily, constantly engaging and talking to people. It's hard for a warm and pleasant person who's asking a lot of questions not to come across interesting opportunities. You will, you know. And has anybody, I'm trying to look for that book that I have. I think it's by Fenton. Go for No is what the book is called. Actually, I'm going to bring it up here. You've read it?
I've read it. I have it. It comes in video too. I got the video.
It does? Right there. So
Yeah.
Go for No. Yes is the destination. No is how you get there. And so it's a very short book. You could actually probably sit down and read that in literally a day.
Yeah.
It's very short, very simple. And he just talks about how too many times we're afraid of the no. But once you get through the no's, you'll get the yeses. And you got to remember, it's the law of averages. You know, if you've got somebody that wants to become a professional basketball player, I'm trying to think who it was. He was a great quarterback, Jerry Rice. I read a little bit about Jerry Rice. He was a quarterback. He hit all kinds of records. And he would go to practice with the team, but afterward, he would go the extra mile and he would do his own practice. You know, and if you talk to anybody that is great in their profession, they always went the extra mile. Celine Dion, Whitney Houston. Why such great singers? Because they do a lot of practice. They take a lot of vocal lessons. They're just not good to be good. They have a lot of practice and they do it every day. My son is a music coach, vocal and instruments. He practices every day whether he's on vacation, whether he comes home, he always has an instrument with him and he practices. That is why he is so good, because he's consistent. And so if we are looking to build our volume and our group and get better, it's something that we have to do on a consistent basis, not just do it, but learn. Learn and see what we did well and what we can do better. You know, so whenever I talk to somebody, I always ask myself when I'm done talking to them, kind of what were the results and what could I do better? Maybe what more questions could I ask? And so one of the things that I'm really trying to do is looking and finding their pain point. Because if you find something that is difficult for them and they really want to change it, if it's enough pain, they'll want to change and do something about it. And so sometimes it can be hard to do that. I know for myself that can be a little difficult to kind of go into that, because sometimes you feel like you're kind of lifting and lifting that scar again, or that that boo-boo perhaps, and not letting it kind of, but sometimes that's what it takes. I know for myself, if something gets painful enough, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to change, you know, and sometimes we all have to get to that point to get to a better place in our life. And entrepreneur and investor Paul Graham said on Fooling Yourself, if you're trying to choose between two theories and one gives you an excuse for being lazy, the other one is probably right. So I thought that was interesting. Isn't that the truth? Nothing is ever easy. That's worthwhile. I mean, it really isn't. I was thinking about that because we have the family get together and I want to prepare a really nice meal, and I see all these great desserts that I could fix. And I'm like, oh, do you know how much time that's going to take to do that? Because
you know, you could spend your time just finding a good bakery and then they could handle the rest of it.
and so writer and scholar C.S. Lewis said on why small choices matter. He said, good and evil both increase at compound interest. That's why the little decisions that you and I make every day are of such infinite importance. The smallest good act today is the capture of a strategic point from which a few months later, you may be able to go on to victories you never dreamed of. An apparently trivial indulgence in lust or anger today is the loss of a ridge or railway line or bridgehead from which the enemy may launch an attack otherwise impossible. The little choices, the little things we do today make a difference over a period of time. Even the phone calls, you know, Janine had mentioned, you know, about, yeah, phone calls can be really tough. But when I get on the phone, before I call that person, you know, I think to myself, I say, you know what? They're going to have questions. They're going to love everything that I have to offer to them. And I start beginning to saying those affirmations because there are a lot of people that are looking for what we have. So we've got to keep that in the back of our mind and in the forefront of realizing that what we're offering is a positive thing. We're not here just to sell them a product. We're here to make a difference for them. And that does entail the products that we have to use. It does entail positive attitude. It does entail being part of this wonderful community. And I thought this was really great too. Here's a question for you to think about and ponder on, and maybe do as an exercise yourself this week. There are two ways to grow: by adding or shedding. Do you need to add something or do you need to shed something? And I was reading somewhere else. I don't think it's out. Let me go over to this other email that I have, because it kind of goes into there. And so asking a question and being self-conscious and being self-aware of where you are and where you want to go. And self-conscious people are concerned about how they appear to others. Sometimes I don't care. But I think what's more important to ask is self-aware people are concerned about how they affect others. How am I affecting those people around me? And this email I got, he talked about how he was in a conversation with some friends and one of them shared a question. They asked those they work with and those who oversee him, how do you experience me? It really is an incredibly empowering thing to ask, and it can feel liberating. It's a great question. The truth is we can't become self-aware without the input of others. And I'm going to give you an example. I've got a couple, one friend in business, and she's very blunt with me. And so I thought I was coming across in a nice way, and she very kindly directed me into another manner of maybe how to handle the situation in a better way. You know, because I see it in a different way than somebody else might see it, if that makes sense. And so we don't know what our blind spots are. That's why we need each other. You know, we don't always notice or value our strengths either. Sometimes you don't realize a wonderful strength that you have that other people see in you. We don't have a clear understanding of what our weaknesses are and how they impact other people. So sometimes it's a good thing to ask others how they experience us without having someone else or other people in our life. We can't understand if we're actually making progress or not. You know, do we have some clear goals, not just in business, but for ourselves? You know, maybe think about that and ponder clear goals for you, you know, for you as a person and how maybe you want to relate to other people. I am a very direct, to the point person. And sometimes that can come across as very curt and unkind. And I'm very good at it. And I have a coworker. She's a completely different personality type, and she had said something. She said it in a very nice way. She wasn't unkind about it. It's just matter of fact, you know, that it was rude the way I came across. And I was like, I thought I was actually being nice. And I was like, I wonder how it really came across. You know, so it really, she actually did that without even knowing what she did. Because instead of getting upset with her, I kind of stood back and took a look at myself of really how are other people experiencing. And so there's no magic mirrors that show us what's happening inside of us. And that's why we need the feedback of other people. So this is your exercise. Who do you know that you can ask the question, how do you experience me? And maybe how do you see others experiencing me? So it's just a way to look at a way for us to grow as people. And I'm going to ask a few people that question and maybe how they see me come across to other people. And one other quick thing, and we'll kind of get into this a little bit more next week, is remember, we talked about go for the no. Many times it takes 7 to 15 light touches with people before they actually say yes. And so one of the things that you can remember that I learned from Richard Blissbrook is when I'm talking, it's like I'm talking to a lady now. I sent her over a couple cleaners to try because her husband has a lot of allergies. And so she wasn't real thrilled. You know, I don't know how much she used. So I'm getting the bucket back from her. She's passing it on through her mom. And she wasn't thrilled. She's not going to order anything at this time. And I said, oh, well, that's okay. And I said, you know, I know that he's experiencing some issues with being allergic to a lot of things. You know, I have found that myself, but I found that by using some natural products on a daily basis, I've actually been able to overcome a lot of those allergies, and I don't have those anymore. And I asked her, I says, would you like me to send you a little bit of information? So what I did is I redirected that. There's kind of no interest there. She wasn't real excited about that. So now I'm just gonna kind of redirect and ask her another question. I've only had, a few interactions with her messaging. I haven't even talked, she doesn't like to talk on the phone. So I asked about meeting in person. Well, that, she doesn't want to do that at this point either. So the only avenue I have is through messaging. And then I asked her, I says, if it would be okay, I'd love to stay in touch with you. Is there a good email that I could do that with you? Because what I'd like to do is put her on a drip campaign and send an email to her, every week or every other week to kind of stay in touch with her, if that makes sense. So with her, I'm just going to not put a ton of effort into it, but make it easy for me to be able to kind of stay in touch with her and ask if I can stay in touch. And sometimes when people come on and they say, well, no, I'm not really interested right now. And I say, you know what, that's okay. It's all about timing. There may become a place on down the road that this might be a fit for you at that time, but I perfectly understand. I hear you. If it would be okay, I'd love to check back with you or send something that I think might be of interest to you, later in the future. What am I doing? I'm asking permission. If I can send something to them that I think would be of interest later on down the road. I've never had anybody say no. So what that does is that leaves the door open for you. It's a no for now, but that can change. Life can change in one day for somebody, and you just never know. So I want to leave you with that point.
Marcia, can I add one thing to that?
Absolutely.
This also came from Mary's husband, Bruce, and Mary, correct me if I don't have it quite right. But I think this came from Gary Burke way back when or something. One of those guys who was all the time putting information out, but it was about handling objections. And Bruce would say, if somebody said no or not right now, then Bruce would continue with the questions and say, ask people, what was holding them back today, what, anything in particular. And somebody, maybe might say the price, or finances or whatever they're going to say. And then Bruce said, then the next question to ask them, which gives you, an opportunity to follow up is, if that wasn't an issue for you, if the money, wasn't an issue for you, would you, be interested, in following through? And then we would know how to address the money issue, how we could offer, discounts or specials or whatever, but to ask, what was holding them, why were they saying no, what was holding them back? And then that would open a door for, an opportunity to follow up with them and whatever was, what they needed.
I like that. I've heard that before, but you forget. So what is holding you back from moving you forward?
Yeah.
And then if that were not an issue.
Mhm. Mary, do you remember better what what the wording was?
I think you did pretty well, Leah.
Okay, it's been quite a few years.
So if that were not an issue, would you want
to move forward or
would you want to move forward?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then the next question would be, is if I can show you a way
Yes.
to open the door so that you can move forward, would you like me to be able to show that to you?
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else?